Welcome to Sitka. This is our first port of call on our Alaskan cruise on Royal Caribbean's Brilliance of the Seas. We were so excited to come into port and to be able to get off the ship. This is our third day on the cruise. First, we did the inside passage, and then we came up to our first port of call. I was super excited, and so was my family. We had many historical places that we wanted to go see. Sitka was Alaska's first state capital, purchased by America from the Russians, who used to own this beautiful piece of land, but they went bankrupt, and so America bought it from them. But before we embark on history in Alaska, first up was kayaking the Sitka Sound. First, we got a lesson in how to kayak, and then they geared us up and we were set off into the waters of the Sitka Sound. This was really close to our cruise ship, and I thought I would be bothered by it, but I actually rather enjoyed all of the beautiful views that we could see of Alaska and Sitka and the cruise ship in the background. The first nature that they pointed out to us was this little teeny island where eagles nest. And so we kayaked around this little island and had the opportunity to be able to see a couple of eagles nesting up on this island. And everybody really enjoyed being able to see the eagles. I don't know if you can tell, but there are two eagles up there. We kayaked around and we had to kind of back paddle so that we could get a good view for my aunt so that she could see them. It was pretty amazing. We then kayaked near the Sitka ferry terminal where we could hear eagles up in a nest.
They're up there somewhere.
We'll just coast for a little bit.
All of the kayaks stayed coasting here so that we could see the eagles. We then coasted further up where the other kayaks were, and we were able to finally spot the eagle's nest. And you know what our guides told us? That they can weigh up to 1,000 pounds. We were pretty amazed by that fact. I then was able to spot and capture an eagle flying to the nest to join the other eagle that was there. It was really cool to capture this moment.
Wow. Oh, and they're all squawking.
I tried to zoom in with my cell phone so that you could see it a little bit better. We then started to paddle back to our cruise ship. As you can see, it's not in sight right now. So we did go a little bit further away from our cruise ship to where the ferry was that you saw earlier. And here my aunt's doing all the work right now as I'm videotaping this gorgeous scene. I really wanted her to be able to look back and see all of this beauty captured. We kayaked with my son and his girlfriend, my niece and nephew, and my brother and sister-in-law. It was a really fun time. Like I said, we did not book this through the cruise because it was more expensive. We booked this through Viator. This excursion was called the Sitka Sound Kayak Adventure through their app, and it cost $143 per person. From what I remember, it was about $30 more per person through the cruise ship. Both my brother and I and the rest of the family were very happy with this excursion, and we would definitely recommend it. After that, we were starving and we headed downtown to Pelmeni to try the original Russian dumpling. It had a beautiful view overlooking the Russian Orthodox Church. According to their website, Pelmeni has been serving Russian dumplings in Alaska for over 20 years. There are two kinds that you can order, the beef or the potato. We ordered both styles so that we could taste test both of them, and we ordered them as the restaurant recommends with everything on it. Each order is only $9 and it comes with a drink, and it is a lot of dumplings. It is a good value for the money. It is delicious and I highly recommend it. Those two orders were plenty enough for 4 people to share. And then this is where I failed because I did not know that the Russian Orthodox Church was only open from noon until 2 p.m. So there was no way that we would be able to go inside the church. So we did a little bit of shopping instead. This store had hand-painted authentic Russian dolls. Please know that St. Michael's Cathedral has over 150 years of history in Sitka and has been doing services since 1834. After doing a little bit of shopping, we ran into my brother and his family who had just come out of Ernie's Bar, the oldest bar in Alaska. We too had this on our list of places to visit, and so we went inside to try the famous duck fart shot. This is a must do when you go to Alaska, and I wanted to try it here at Ernie's Bar.
Drink it slowly, you just could drink the whiskey.
A duck fart is a layered shot with Kahlua, Bailey's Irish cream, and whiskey. Apparently, you're supposed to slam this shot.
I'm not a slammer.
I tried to slam it the best I could. But holy cow, did I really enjoy this shot. I loved it. After that, we trekked to Baranoff Castle because, of course, you need to hike up a little hill after you take a shot of whiskey. Baranoff Castle is a state historic site and often referred to as Castle Hill. And there are some beautiful views from up top on this hill. According to the state historic website, the Tlingit natives originally built this hill as a fortification site. The Russians owned this site between 1804 and 1867. And in 1867, Alaska was officially transferred from Russia to the United States. The Russians wanted to capitalize on the otter fur trading industry, and they had pretty much depleted that resource. The Tlingits had been fur trading with the Americans and the British and were pretty tired of Russia and wanted to undermine what they were doing. This is basically me summarizing everything that you can see up on this hill. It's a pretty interpretive place where you can discover the history of what happened and the importance of what happened on this hill. This is accessible for anyone who has accessibility needs. It's pretty easy to reach, and it is paved all the way around so you can read the rich history and importance of this area. Coming to this site was the number one item I had on my list to do in Sitka, and it did not disappoint. In the background there is the O'Connell Bridge. By this time, my duck fart shot had worn off and we were ready to head down the steps to Totem Square. Because we did not have enough time to go to the Totem National Historic Park and the Tlingit Totem, we figured this would be the next best thing. This building is Sitka's Pioneer Home, which is now a senior community center. We got a text from my son to join him and his girlfriend at Ernie's Saloon, so we went back, and I just fell in love with this place. And then we took them to the totem pole site to share with them what we discovered. This building is one of 3 fortresses that guarded the stockade wall, and I thought that was a replica which can be seen from the park. It was then time to head back to the cruise ship. So on our way back, we saw a pretty cool view of the church, found a license plate that we thought was unique to Alaskan history, and it was the day before school started, so we were lucky enough to experience a tradition in Sitka where these school buses drive around town honking their horns and flashing their signals. It was pretty cool. Everything is pretty well close around here, so we made our way across the street back to where the bus picks everyone up. We did take the last bus back to the cruise terminal. My son got into a long bearded discussion with a fellow bearded person and who was our bus driver. And then we took the bus back to the cruise terminal. He provided a lot of great history. All in all, this was a great day in Sitka. It was my first time in Sitka, and as I stared out my balcony, what I believe to be Mount Edgecombe, a volcano, I was just reminiscing about our time here today and how much history we learned about and the nature that we got to experience, and I felt pretty good about my first time here in Sitka. As you can see, I was very happy with our port day. I joined my family at the theater for entertainment, and then we went to dinner to share our experiences for the day. And then I headed back to finish watching the sunset from my balcony. I hope you enjoy this beautiful view as much as I did. Thank you for joining my family and me as we visited Sitka on our first port stop on our Alaskan cruise through Royal Caribbean's Brilliance of the Seas. I also want to thank you for watching, and please subscribe and like this video. It really helps the channel out as I bring you more content from our Alaskan cruise and other places that I visited and am going to. And that is a wrap for this episode of Deb's Travel Vibe in Sitka, Alaska.